Hi guys, thank you again for tuning in. My name is Anthony. I hope that you are well. I hope that you're doing good. And I hope that despite whatever is going on in your life, that God has been good to you and you are finding the strength to push on for this week. Thank you for tuning into the channel and welcome to my channel. So, as we usually do, I'd like us just to begin our topic for today. This channel usually talks about challenges that are facing the youth, the current status of the country with regards to the youth, and the hope for the new Kenya that is being birthed. So today, I'd like us to talk about the truths that we must accept, because where we are right now as a country, it's like we are at an impasse. Okay, so we are at a stalemate, meaning there are problems in this country, and it seems like the leadership does not know how to fix it. Secondly, the citizenry is agitated and they cannot bear the burdens anymore. So what do you do when you have a government that does not know how to solve the problem for the people who are suffering? And what do you do when the citizenry cannot sustain the pressure that life is giving them? That's why we have the issue that we have in Kenya. And in order for us to address this issue, we must be real with ourselves. We must come clean on certain truths. We do not have the luxury of sugarcoating certain realities. It's either we decide we are tackling this issue once and for all and handle it, plainly with all truthfulness, or we pretend and keep on throwing jabs at each other without anyone resolving anything. So to the government of Kenya, these are the truths that you need to understand about this country. First of all, most of the leaders that are in this regime were in the previous regime. So the problems that we are experiencing right now started while most of you guys were in government in the previous regime. So it's not something new. And most of you were part of the problems that we are facing now. So stop pretending like you don't know what is happening in this country. So the leaders of this country are one part of the problem of this country. Why? The leaders of this country have continuously gone out and negotiated contracts with external bodies, external governments that have caused burdens to this land. Debts that cannot be accounted for, debts that cannot be traced, debts that we do not even know what they did. And we suddenly see many of you, or most of you, start acquiring assets, choppers, banks, hotels, flats, institutions. So we are not fools. We see that there is an influx of wealth, and we're being told that the country owes debt to who? Where did this debt go? What did it service? To what project were these debts connected to? So the problems that we are facing arise from the political class who are governing this country. So that is not something we shall run away from. Then secondly, another problem that we are facing with the leaders, when these leaders were coming for power, they, with their own mouths, went out and promised young people that we are going to give you jobs. We are going to create employment for you. We are going to do these things to make sure that you guys have an income. Thus, you communicated your awareness of the situations and the problems that Kenyans were going through. And because you showed awareness, it means you knew very well what you were entering into by requesting for power from the people. And you claimed to have planned a strategy in which you would create employment for the many young people. So, there's no blame game. When the leadership took power, they were well cognizant of the issues that were affecting the local person. And going by what they were saying and what they promised, they had a plan to effect the changes that would be necessary for Kenyans to get employment. Because the main issue facing the youths is unemployment. So, I remember very well when the government took power, Kenyans started complaining. They told us, let's give them 1 year so that they can stabilize things, food prices and all that stuff. So yes, Kenyans were patient. We gave them time. So now the population is mushrooming. There are no employment. Then the actions that the government is taking, the leaders are acting as if we are living in a place where there is luxury that can be afforded to them, not knowing that the country is suffering. I will go back to this question of renovating. Why would you renovate State House with so much money, amounting to billions or hundreds of millions? Why would all these state lodges be renovated? Are they of much importance? Can't the leadership just what's I don't know. There's so much wastage and pilferage of funds. Another thing, let me just look at it objectively. We had a working system, NHIF, the National Hospital Insurance Fund. And for the most part of our life, NHIF has been catering for a lot of ailments. They were not perfect, they had their flaws, but NHIF was working for most Kenyans. And it was straightforward. You pay 500, you get covered. The government then comes and proposes that they want to change it from NHIF to SHIF. Okay. Then you slap us with a bill of 100 billion that is supposed to be used for the IT infrastructure. Who the hell does that? 100 billion, what does it come with? Does it come with benefits that give us food? You are burdening Kenyans with unnecessary things just because some few people want to benefit from this tendering. If it was so bad, if NHIF was so bad, why couldn't the government take the parts of NHIF that are working, leave them intact, then rectify the parts of NHIF which were faulty? Adjustments rectified, that would be cost effective. Why come change a whole system, then slap us with enormous costs for software purchasing? Does that make sense in this economy? Then you find a help system, higher education loans for university students. It was not perfect, but it was working. So you need to come and adjust the parts that are not working. You come and mess and jumble up everything. It's as if the government is intentionally doing the wrong thing. Like, it's as if there's a panel seated somewhere, and then there are like objectives. This is what the government should do. We are going to do this and this and this and this to better Kenyans. So advisors come and propose what the government should do. And then it's as if there's a panel that sits and does the total opposite. So they do this and then they do the opposite. So they're implementing the opposite things that would benefit Kenyans. So Kenyans are agitated because most of the people who caused the mess that we are in as a country are in this government. And then this government comes in power and flouts everything that they promised the Kenyans. They come and start doing their own things and behaving as if they do not understand the sort of environment that we are in as a country. So when you start complaining as a government, You promised Kenyans that you would deliver. You spoke with your own mouth. No one took a gun to your head and told you to say the words that you said. So when you speak something and you cannot deliver, what is the moral thing to come and do? Stand in front of the people and tell them, I promised you this, but I cannot deliver because of this and this. Stop playing gimmicks with Kenyans. You're coming here playing gimmicks and you think we are our parents. We are not. Most Kenyans are informed and you think we are fools. You will not take us for a ride because we see what you're doing. The bloated wage bill. How does one person have 21 advisors? What are they advising them? Are they wanting to go to the moon? What advice can you have 21 people telling you? Managing a simple country like Kenya, US has population, I think 5 times more than Kenya, if I'm not wrong. They don't have 21 advisors. What's so complex in managing Kenya that you need all those people? So we have to be truthful to ourselves. You do not have the luxury to complain. You demanded power, you requested power, power was given to you. You use power effectively. If you do not know how to do it, you say, I do not know, and you leave it to people who can actually use it. Because the problem is, well, let me not go into that. That's too much. But we need to be truthful with ourselves. Those in power, it is not your right to be there. You have been donated power by the citizens so that you can go to that place and effect changes. If the kitchen becomes too hot, you leave the kitchen to those who can withstand the heat. Kenya will not die because you're not there. You are one person. You guys, in every position, when you leave a docket, you are one person. The country will not suffocate because you're not there. The country was surviving before you came to that position. Every leader that is in power, who told you that the country will not survive because you're not there? When something becomes too hard, you leave it to those who can. God has given us brains. God has given us ideas. Who told you that you're the one who was meant to fix? If you cannot have the vision to fix it, then why insist on staying in power? Why do you insist on clinching to power? So that's one part that we have to be truthful about. To the leaders who are complaining that this and this and this, no. The second part that we have to be truthful about is to the citizens. You are complaining right now about the leaders. Who chose these leaders? Who went to the ballot and chose the leaders? What were you looking at when you're choosing these leaders? Do you look at the person's history? Do you look at what they have done? Do you look at their records, their performance records? What have they done before this? What's their vision? Because the same people, and this will be totally honest, some people were saying, I'll choose this one because I'm angry at this leader, so I'm going to choose this one because I'm angry. What logic is that? How do you make a decision? You want to choose the leader because you want to punish someone that you don't like. So you don't like this person, you're choosing this one. Others, you choose people because they are from your tribe. Other people, you choose them because they were selling chicken, or I don't know what stories they told you. They were selling chicken or charcoal, or I don't know what. So you are electing people without being objective. Then when the leaders start making decisions that are not objective, you cry. Who is to blame? So before us as citizens, we start complaining about the leaders, what part of the blame do we take? Because you have to be totally honest. You have to be brutally honest with yourself that I am part of the problem. I did this because I made an irrational decision. So that even if these people leave office, you will not repeat the same mistake because you have consciousness of the errors that you made. But you cannot be passing blame on the leaders. Who put them there? Who elected them? People have elected murderers, convicted felons into office, people with questionable reputation. and you elect them gladly, and then you complain. So if we're being honest, we have leaders who are incompetent. That's just the plain truth of the matter. We have so much incompetence in this current government that even if competent people were placed in those positions, they are not really able to affect a lot, because those in positions of power are really, really incompetent. And you see, when you have someone who's incompetent, you feel frustrated. How do you communicate your vision to someone who does not share the same vision? Someone who is short-sighted, only wants to see how they can loot funds. You're trying to provide a solution to the country. So it's a show of incompetence. It's a demonstration of incompetence all around. And this has to be apportioned blame to the citizens. So if we are truthful to ourselves about why we are where we are, it boils down to the poor decision-making ability of the average citizen. So what are we going to do to rectify this? Because we can't rely on the government. I don't even know if they see that they are the cause of the problem. So you as an average normal citizen, what are you going to do to make sure that this does not happen again? Do your civic education. When you go home, talk to your parents, talk to these people who make irrational decisions. Educate them on why wrong decisions will harm them, and use the practical situations that they're facing right now, the current state of the country. Explain to them how their choices resulted in this. Explain in your local dialect, explain it how you want or how you may, but make them know that their choices led to what we are experiencing. Because it is up to us to change. It is up to us to rectify the errors that we did. Okay? So we have to be truthful. We, as citizens, are the ones who are hurting. The leaders, even if they deny or they act as if they don't see, they're insulated, because they keep on increasing their salaries and their perks, and so they have a tiny bubble that gives them the illusion of comfort. But that bubble is soon going to burst, because you cannot insulate yourself while the majority are suffering. This majority will come for you. That's a given. You cannot be living lavishly, and the people who elected you are suffering. They're not even able to afford 3 meals a day. They don't have clothing, they don't have shelter. No. This bubble will burst soon enough. So before we confront any other thing in this country, we have to be truthful with ourselves, brutally honest with ourselves. Where you made an error, you accept the error, then you rectify it and you move forward. You cannot move forward if you haven't accepted responsibility for your errors. So we, as Kenyans, as the young people, we have to make a difference. But before making any changes, we have to accept where we went wrong and learn from it, so that we are not duped again into making poor decisions for our future. Okay? So be brutally honest with yourself about where the country is, and then start from there. So I pray for my country, because I know that change is coming. I know that change is here. I know that time for change is ripe, and no one can stop it. So it's just a matter of us aligning ourselves, preparing ourselves, strategizing, so that when this move is completed, the right people are in the right positions to effect the change that the majority want. Okay? So we need to address the core issues that face this country. We cannot hide behind things that do not make sense. No. What is the root cause of the problem in Kenya: unemployment. So whoever we are going to elect should have practical steps on how to fix unemployment. Failure to that, we don't need to elect someone who does not know how to fix the main problem. The main problem is unemployment. Youth need jobs. They need a way to find living. They need to sustain their lives. They need to support their families. So whoever is coming into power, we need practical ways. How are you going to provide employment to young people? So we're going to be brutally truthful with every candidate who presents themselves to want leadership. How are you going to do this? Don't give us fallacies. Don't give us fables and stories that do not make sense. No, we do not have itchy ears. We don't want lies. We are going to decipher between truth and lies. We are more enlightened now. And we're not going to repeat the same errors. So whoever wants to stand up, you better be brutally honest with yourself about the issues that Kenyans are facing and what your solution is to the problems that they are facing. Otherwise, things will not be normal. These are extraordinary times. They require for extraordinary vigilance. And I hope that that message has sunk in to whoever is concerned. So I thank you again for taking your time, for sparing the few minutes to watch this video. I hope that it ministers to you. I hope that it enlightens you and it changes something about your life, how you look at things. And I hope that it's worthwhile. So from my end, this is it. Goodbye. Like, share, subscribe this content and channel with anyone who you think will appreciate it and will learn from it. And I will see you in the next episode. God bless Kenya. God bless you.